one final match in the St. Charles High Overwatch Invitational group stage before we head on to our playoff bracket. It is going to be the final two teams we get on broadcast. Again, so happy that we get everybody. It will be the Fox Warriors playing their match against Team Fusion for their final game today.
Yeah, final game at least of the groups for both of these teams. And yeah, this has been, hey, an interesting group stage. I think we've learned a lot about where teams stand. But as we look at these teams for Fox Senior High School, yeah, Gamer, Lou, Shadowmaster, Stitch, and COD, both, and all of them start. Maybe we see Trident later on in this series. And then for Fusion, Alexandria, Cryo, Toko, Aaron, and Maya. This is going to be one of kind of the team sitting in the middle of this group right now. We saw how the last one went. It was not the greatest game for Confluence, sadly. I think it was just, honestly, us learning about a contender more than anything else. But we'll look into this map. Here we go. As it will be Busan. Yeah, Busan could be an interesting first map here because we get a little bit of everything.
Exactly. I'm a big fan of Busan for being the first map of a series because it forces teams to play a little bit of everything, at least in a slightly more traditional gameplay, you could argue. I think that with today, there is so much viability going with your comfort picks, going with your gut. Why try to play something just because other people say it's good? Do what you think is best. You do you. That's the message that we kind of want to see heading into today. Team Fusion are a new one for us. We don't have too much information on them. Fox Senior High, on the other hand, did participate in the St. Charles High Overwatch Invitational last year and finished third, falling to St. Charles High in that lower finals game. So for them this year, not many returning faces, to my knowledge, if any, on this team, but have that high bar set as a school in the previous years, and surely wanting to live up to that. This will be a good decider for that seeding moving on.
Yeah, like you said, the reputation that's Fox Senior High have going into this, obviously wants to try and replicate or exceed last year's finish. But it is also, a very important match here to make sure that, hey, are we going against the 2 seed of the other group, or are we going against the 3 seed? Because like you said, these two teams are locked at 2 and 3 in this group. It is now just a fact of where do they land, and it could impact who they play in the bracket and when. You want to, you want to avoid the bigs. You want to avoid the big teams that are trying to vie for this title for as long as possible, so you can just continue building that momentum in the earlier stages of the bracket.
Yep, this is that last sort of opportunity. This game doesn't have too much overall significance on the outcome of the day, other than, again, who you'll be playing within that first round. So as we get to load into Busan here, we will be on Sanctuary, the most open and free roaming of all 3 mini maps on Busan here. And typically we'll see either a poke or maybe some form of dive, but typical is the last word I would use to describe today's games of Overwatch. And a Diva on Diva mirror would make me pretty happy.
Yeah, today's been quite the opposite of typical for a tournament like this, as we see a very wide variety of comps coming in from all the teams. Yes, we've seen some meta. Yes, we see the Rhine Rush with the Juno. The Juno has been kind of the consistency, just because they are arguably one of the best supports in the game right now. But as we load in, the Divas are going to stay. The big difference here for me will be Fox Senior. They don't have a ton of range outside of Blue with those long-range icicles. They're a little bit more for Fusion Stellae with snakes on the Baptiste and Cryo on.
So a bit more of that ranged poke damage that we've been used to seeing, but I like this Tracer pick that Yahiko's pulling out, at least at the start. Recall is forced relatively early. You'll see players kind of expand around the map. When you're playing a Brawl competition, for example, like with the Reinhardts, everyone plays bunched together, but a Diva, you're going to be everywhere. It's all about controlling that space, not letting your opponent have that opposing angles, and so far, Yahiko and Silly Shark have done an excellent job at denying the sightlines of both Blue and Trident's Rage, even taking them off the field of battle. This results in a Team Fusion first half.
Should result in the cap and the stagger onto the Baby Diva as well. Even with the new wave respawn system, it is very common for Divas to get staggered out like that. It gives you just a few more seconds of that cap and forces Fox Senior a few more seconds to try and wait for their tank to get back into the fray. But yeah, that is going to be the advantage of this comp, and especially like you said, the Heek on the Tracer, causing all sorts of chaos in that back line of Fox Senior, and they're already looking to start that chaos again.
Oh, but it will be Stellae Shark does manage to get the mech back. I was a little bit worried about that, but your tank is at full strength time being. Team Fusion looking to get aggressive. Shadow Maze finds themselves in a very far forwards position, and Fusion quick to leap onto that opportunity. Stellae Shark with yet another one in the kill feed. This Eva is running amok all over the map. 3 final blows.
Yeah, they're just all over the place, and even though, yeah, they didn't have mech right away, I'm pretty sure they actually landed the remech damage onto Stitch, which forced the pull really early from Shadow Mace. So just one thing after another going in the favor of Fusion so far. And now Fox Senior are going to try and take a different way to go at this. They're going to go all the way here on the coast side, but yeah, they have the Tracer, and they have the Pulse Bomb ready to go.
He goes on the hunt. Pulse Bomb and Poe spot the Moira. Goes a little bit too far to the side. The Exandria, though, she uses her orbital ray, and that's so much damage to overwhelm them. As soon as that ultimate comes out, Stellae Shark knows it's time to go in. Snakes with a couple on the support of their own, and a wonderful decision from Alexandria there to get Team Fusion's fight win.
I love that call from her. Just go in. It's when Fox Senior don't have a whole lot of time to play with, but you use the orbital ray to finish off the fight, and you still got a few ultimates, and now you got to worry about who is going to touch. And self-destruct is sent in early, but no dice.
And nothing quite yet. Exandria was in a bit of trouble, but she managed to bounce off the safety emote. Juno, very mobile hero. Now the Riptire and the Blizzard on the point. Trident's Rage at least gets the trade out, but it's Fusion who have the numbers advantage in this battle. Fox Senior, if they want to keep this one going, you have to win the fight, but it isn't looking so good. Stellae Shark is still alive and healthy, uses the self-destruct to clean off Shadow Mace, and it's only Stitch remaining. Not much juice left in the tank to keep pushing Fox Warriors forward on this point of Sanctuary, and Team Fusion looked in control from the beginning. Major shout-outs to Alexandria for helping this team set the tempo.
That is the power of a Juno compared to not having a Juno on the other side. Is you can set the tempo. It is a boatload of heals that you can do, whether it be from your primary fire, from the torpedoes as well. It is, honestly, it's hard to not run Juno in just the current aspect of the game, and that is what Fusion have realized, and that's what they're trying to take advantage of so far. And even Hiko again with the Tracer causing all sorts of chaos, and they'll just TP out of spawn yet again to make sure they get over to this point first. Fox Senior, I wonder if this is just a case of they're not used to playing a composition that is this aggressive. Having that Bastion now could be an answer to it, but the only issue is going to be, yes, there's going to be a lot of that that's going to be eaten up by the defense matrix of Stellae Shark. I believe the TP was attempted, but a little bit delayed there. Fusion, yeah, they're just gonna say like, all right, we're gonna be a little bit late to this fight.
Not the end of the world here. No. I want to say this again for Team Fusion right now. They have more ways to spread out and cover more space, and I like that composition a little bit more. Lou and Trident's Rage, they're doing big bursts of damage where Hiko's just trying to be a nuisance, if anything. Like, you'll see them keep blinking in and out of these fights. Stellae Shark distracts them all the meanwhile. It's the split attention. Fusion are almost confusing the Fox Warriors by how spread out that they're playing right now, and it's working to their advantage.
Yeah, playing split like that, you got to figure out for Fox Senior who you want to dive in on, because if you are split going into that fight, they are going to be able to quickly converge faster than you are, just because they have more mobility on this team, right? The only person that really has that level of mobility for Fox Senior is the D.Va and the Genji. So now everybody sticking together. They're going to be going coast side, and there's no real boot potential for the Warriors.
Not right now. The Warriors are trying to get set up. The problem is Lou and Shadowmaster are sitting ducks, and that's exactly what Hiko wants to go after. They got the Bastion so incredibly low for Cryo to finish off. Stellae Shark comes in and follows up, and it's this kind of tag team, this poke in and out, these like short, quick jabs that Fusion do so well in tandem with Juno.
Yeah, you're going to jab you from one side. They're going to jab you from another side. They want to make sure that you were looking all over the place and just not looking at the core of this team. And that's why, especially, you're going to see Yahiko a lot of the time, not directly with the team. They're going to be on the flank at some point, whether it be on that outside mini health pack, here on the far left side. They're going to be all over it because they want to try and divert attention from the core of this team.
Fox Senior High. Looking for a way in. Yahiko did have to use all their blinks early. There's the Bastion form out. So Fusion don't necessarily need to push in because they already have point capture, but they're going to do so anyways. Shadow Mace is already down. Yahiko getting checked by some of these arrows from Trident Rage. The important part is you don't have an answer with Silly Shark. The best way I can describe D.Va right now, how Silly Shark is playing, is that of Thanos. They simply cannot be stopped, and there's a one-man army. No chance of having an answer for a character with that much health and damage. Literally just got everyone by the way.
They are inevitable, as he once said. This is an insane performance so far. They will continue pressing pace. You know, somebody is on point. When this chaos of this is going on, somebody is capping, but it will get tested at the very end.
Yeah, it's just a last-ditch effort from Gamer. Coalescing on the point. Very difficult to hit a Moira through that. Snakes has to get the application matrix. Double the damage, double the healing, and double the chance of Fusion cleaning out this map. And I gotta say, bro, this is so much different from what we've seen earlier in the day. And Jesse, I'm gonna call you out here. You just DM'd me. Wow. Like, this is so impressive from a team. We often see squads stick to this Brawl, that Reinhardt style of play, because it's a lot simpler to set up. But the pacing and just these little intricate timings that Fusion have set up is so incredible to watch.
Man, calling it out. That is.
I'm calling you out.
We said this in the last series, putting their names in contention. I think with that kind of, because it is not rush. Right? Like, they're not running the rush. They're running their own sort of kind of wacky comp, but it is, at its very core, normal dive, right? You have the D.Va, you have the Tracer, you have a hit skin that can typically clean up a lot of the targets that those dive targets get low. But this is a phenomenal dive, which dive is not easy to play. It is so hard to play, and the fact that they are doing it at this type of level is just a great sign for Fusion for the rest of this series and for Fox Senior High. Again, obviously, they don't get to pick the map we're going to, but they get to pick what side they are starting on, which could at least give them some sort of leverage to get this back on track.
The hard part with that, Jesse, is if I remember correctly, our map 2 is Hollywood. And if there's any hybrid map other than Paradiso that you're going to play dive on, it's this one, right?
Yeah, it's like this, Paradiso, Numbani. Like, the one thing with hybrid maps, a lot of them love dive. Like, they are very much, hey, first point, you have to play dive. The rest of it, hey, you can maybe play rush and get away with it. But this is not the greatest for Fox Senior High. I won't lie. This could be a very tricky situation for them to be in. But obviously, we saw it earlier. Things can change on a map, right? They can get way closer than it was on the previous map. And it's going to be a lot of pressure on Fusion to continue this level of play. Because, like we said, this composition is just so difficult.
And that's the hard part, is when we look at the Fox Warriors right now, I don't think that they're not finding the same level of connection within their team, right? They have great individual talent and players, but the level of communication that Team Fusion have showed us so far is what has been setting them past their opponents, especially when you are playing dive. You need to know exactly when somebody is going in, because it takes multiple steps to get there. And what we're seeing from the Fox Warriors, for lack of a better term here, they're quite literally just getting lost in the sauce by all the different things that are happening at one time. You have a Tracer on this side, a D.Va from above, the Kiriko way in the back firing down some kunai. Like, they don't know where to look because there's so many different points that they need to get attention to. And that's one of the hardest parts of learning how to play as a team, is communicating what target, what the main focus and goal is for that team. And this is just one of the growing pains that we're seeing a newer roster of Fox Senior High.
Yeah, and like you said, this is very much a different roster from last year, right? Like, this is not the same roster that got third last year. So I don't think it's fair to keep that level of expectation, but they obviously enter with it, right? They can't ignore what they did last year, and they want to obviously kind of reach that similar height. But like you said earlier, they're one of 3 teams that are returning. There are 5 new teams, and even though some, yes, are kind of going through the growing pains of a tournament like this, right? A lot of them aren't used to a tournament that's in person, that is this long in one day. Fusion, on the other hand, seem to be taking it with grace. Like, they are really comfortable in this kind of format. They're not stressed on stage. I think they seemed more loose than they have been the entire day so far. And that's something you can't teach, right? Like, that is just something that just comes with time, whether it be, one map or, multiple LAN events. And that's just something that they look incredibly comfortable on so far.
It's hard for me to believe that this is a high school team, in all
Yeah,
honesty,
dude.
Jesse.
Exactly.
Like, this is better than some collegiate sort of synergies that we watch. And I'm so glad that this team has managed to play not only as an incredible set of individuals, but learn how to combine themselves and work like clockwork. Have these near flawless levels of execution in rapid succession. Like, these are not easy things to do, and it's really going to set a pace here. On Hollywood, the Fusion will be on attack, and I have to set that bar pretty high. I want to see what the Fox Warriors have cooking for this map number 2. It's never over until it's over, and perhaps just that diva, that dive, wasn't the answer. They can throw something else in the mix, such as a Pharah.
Yeah, the Pharah is something. I think the Pharah can disrupt, because it wasn't like it was the last series, right, where it was a hit scan that really set the tone to where a Pharah can't really disrupt it. Here, on the other hand, it was a lot of, hey, the diva and the tracer. Obviously, the diva they can counter the Pharah, but it has to be a full commit. They have to go up into the air, dive the Pharah, and that always doesn't even work. If the Pharah is getting enough healing, it really just puts the diva in a very awkward spot. So I really like this from Trident's Rage, and they also just popped in, right? They weren't in, I don't believe, last map. That, or I might just be going insane. But this could be a nice little way for them to enter this. But this is gonna be an early flank TP on high ground.
What is this? This is a rare sight to see. Fusion just pushed where very few teams have done before, and it completely catches Lou off guard. And they just moved through the small staircase, completely ignored that super long sightline that Fox Senior Warriors were banking on firing down, doing chip damage with the rockets, but they were down the Bastion so early, the rest of the team just falls over like dominoes.
I love that. Like, hey,
So
we see that they're pushing up. They're playing a little bit higher up than typical teams do. The fact that, hey, we're just going to TP over, and we're just going to try and hit the back of them. Back what they do, and they will be able to reap the rewards of it. They will cap point A, and they will have 5.5 minutes going into the streets phase, where dive is even more important so far the Pharah. It's not like it didn't work. It just didn't really get the opportunity to work.
And it still won't for a little bit. Trident's Rage was caught too far up. I think there was a recontest that was being talked about, but never fully committed on. So Fox Warriors facing a little bit of staggering right now. You kind of want to slap a band-aid on fast. Fusion are so quick at identifying the opportunities, seeing someone out of position that they can clap.
We said it here and again. I think this is just a testament to some of the teams here this weekend. The organization and the coordination is unbelievable.
It's insane.
Like, it's insane especially for high school. Like especially, this is the first time a lot of these players would have played at this level, and this coordination.
Silly Shark is just also a one-man army. Diva has this insane amount of damage output with those micro missiles. You get close enough, there's a couple shots put in, but the staggering really has never stopped. It's just a calculated, it's almost evil from Fusion what they're doing. They're taking care of the Fox Warriors scattered players one by one, but slowly enough, there's never a full chance to regroup, and there hasn't been a fight on this point. Jesse, that's the craziest part. That is how smart Fusion are playing right now, and it is just amazing to see at this level of experience. 5:45 on the clock, and no contestation to be seen for that second point.
Fox Senior need to find a way to stop the bleeding. That is what needs to happen right now, but that means a full reset. There goes the Weaver.
There we go.
Soldier,
There we
the
go.
May. Everybody needs to reset. They have a swap over to the Reinhardt. For this stage of the map, I actually like it because it is more enclosed. I think this could definitely work. I've tried that before, right? You just barely hit your head on the floor. But this is now the chance. Hey, Fox Senior, they have a full 5-on-5. Honestly, the first time this entire map with how this map has gone. Their downside is, because of the swaps they've made, they only have
Pull
the
foam.
nano.
What was
a throw.
All right, Hiko, I see it. That was quite the Armania. That one won't quite land it. As you said, Jesse, you kind of dug yourself into a hole. Rather, Fusion dug that hole for the Fox Warriors, and it's too deep for them to climb out of. Hiko cleaning up the battlefield, brought out the Drew. No sign of Fox Warriors on this point, and this objective will be completed with the self-destruct, a nice little cherry.
What is it today with these insane capture times?
Literally.
434 last series. 436. Beat him by 2 seconds here on Hollywood. Unbelievable pacing here for both and throughout multiple teams today. And yeah, Fox Senior, they got caught off guard the first fight, and Fusion just never let off the gas. They never let them regroup. They never let them mentally or actually just positionally reset. And they took full advantage of it. And now we're in a very similar position as we were in the last series, to where this is not just a mountain to climb. You have to climb Mount Everest at this point to try and get into a decent position in overtime, just because of how phenomenal that attack was for Fusion.
The Fox Warriors, they're down and they're beaten after that last attack. And the hard part is I can't even critique them much. Like, it was literally the Fusion were playing so well that the Fox Warriors never got a, they didn't get a word in. They didn't get a chance to fully regroup until the very final fight of the entire map. We never saw a full fight other than the first one and the last one. Like, that is the pace that Fusion Stellae are setting in this series right now. I'm glad that the Fox Warriors are switching it up. I like this look a lot better. Can they manage to prevent themselves from getting overwhelmed by all the chaos?
Yeah, I love this. Like, especially the Alari has a lot of damage for a support. I won't lie, Alari feels like a deep gun. But they can just play the range game with Stitch as a way to bring them forward. But you can tell they're hesitant to go in because they know how a lot of this series has gone so far, and they don't want to get caught out. But there has to be a point where you just commit. Whether it be you win or you lose a fight, you gotta find a way to go in.
That's what my mom told me when I was learning to drive. I was awful at park because I never commit. And she'd always like, you just gotta commit, even if you can redo it. And that's the advice you need to hear right now. Fox Warriors, you gotta commit to a push. You gotta make a decision to move up. Hiko is like a little fly buzzing in their ears. They're all like looking around. Where's the fly? Where's the fly? Nowhere in sight. You need to try to look at the rest of the core and walk forwards. But you're doing so ever so slowly. It's a sleep dart, a bind nade, silly shark, and a bit of danger. Flies back to the rest of the team, gets healed on up, and that's Gamer going down, caught in the disruptor shot of Crocodile. Fusion took a lot of time too slowly. They're down Silly Shark here. This is a good look for the Fox Warriors. If they can manage to keep Stitch alive, I'd say there's a chance, but Hiko, the little fly, once again, never dealt with, and Fusion able to hold on.
The one benefit they have, if they can get Lu out, is that multiple members of Fusion did die during that engagement. They are not at full strength either at this point, and yeah, Hiko will not be able to get Lu. So this at least opens the door for the Fox Senior Warriors, but they're already 2 minutes gone and you haven't even gotten through this first kill, because like you said, it's not one fly that flies around your room. It drives you absolutely insane.
Ooh.
Man.
With the blizzard, it hits the trunk of the car. Straight out for Hiko and Blue. Let's make the attack. So Fox Warriors win an opportunity to work with. Stitch gets aggressive as a result. The nano boost is there, keeping him on his feet. Couple swings going out towards the rest of the team, but that's where Silly Shark completely disregards the Reinhardt altogether. And this is what Fusion are so good at, ignoring that big chunky threat and going for these small key pieces of the team.
This is just, even with a nano to Reinhardt, they're struggling to push in because of the fact that Fusion are literally just everywhere. They're not allowing Fox Senior to follow any sort of game plan that they have. They've avoided the blizzard. They've avoided and just shut down the nano. And this is, again, minute 20 to go. They have the window on this high ground. No way for Fox Senior to really contest it. And just time upstart Fusion showing that they really are one of the top.
What Fox Warriors are trying to do is get close enough to brawl, and an Earth Shatter does swing that door wide open. Stitch just didn't have the Oh, Silly Shark just ate the Sun Shadow Mats. Oh, you lose out on that ultimate too. Like, Fox Warriors, they finally got that close fight that they wanted, but Fusion were just one step ahead.
That seals that off right there from Silly Shark. You're able to eat up the Captive Sun. That could have been a lot of burst damage coming in from the Fox Warriors. And now, one fight remaining. You already lose Lou, and this death loss will really help.
It's all eaten by the Matrix. Ryo's looking right at Trident's range. Fusion want this map to be done quickly. 25 seconds left to go in this map. Then Fox Warriors will have one more shot to make a mark in Hollywood.
One more chance. They're on the Lucio now to continue just trying to get their team to the point quickly, but they're probably not getting there quickly. It is just getting there at all.
I mean, they might get the touch. It's not going to be enough to trigger overtime. Not within the final 3 seconds. Ihiko gets the final kill. The tactical nuke zones them out, and there's just nobody left standing. Fusion Stellae putting on a masterclass of the Diva dive. And Jesse, we just are seeing contender after contender show up. Fusion up on the top of my list.
They have to be on, right? Like, that was flawless. It is because of the fact that they have a different composition that we haven't really seen a whole lot today. The orbital right here is absolutely massive from Alexandria. She's able to heal up a lot of their team from that shatter. You think if that wasn't there, that, you know, at least one or two of their teammates die, and that could have been a massive game changer in that fight. But Fusion, like you said, they're in the conversation. That is for sure. And this makes me even more curious how this bracket is going to end up, because I want to see kind of where Fusion is and where a few of these other teams land.
And it's always so hard to tell, like, until teams are matched up against each other. Like, we could see someone doing really well here, but then would just kind of fall apart against another roster. They've played everybody in their group, in their region, but that's all going to change once that playoff bracket is finally seeded. 8 teams, once again, double elimination. You lose 2, you are out. And only one, though, can claim that trophy today. I'm so excited to see who it is.
Oh, I cannot wait to see who comes out on top. Will it be a repeat champion, or will we have a new one rise to the top? I honestly, if I had to bet right now, I'm not sure where I would land, because I do think the contenders, the new teams coming in, they've really shown in this group stage that they deserve to be in that conversation.
Not a doubt in my mind about that. We have, you know, you're always a little hesitant with new teams, new faces, that programs are getting established. Perhaps they haven't practiced together nearly as long, but that just simply isn't the case, especially for a team like Team Fusion, for example. I think they've had the best team play so far today, and it's not super close. Like, the bar just keeps getting raised higher and higher with every team that we've seen play on the stream here today, but it's all going to be changed once we move on after our break. And speaking of break, it's lunchtime, people. If you got any hangry teens out there, get a sandwich. Chill out, because I can tell you right now, you are going to have plenty more Overwatch to play. We'll go ahead, see you back in about an hour with the continuation of the St. Charles High Overwatch Invitational.